And our final panelist, Parnuna Egede, is an Inuit from Greenland, born and raised in Nuuk. She was educated in Denmark with an exchange in Germany and is a biologist with a specialty in biological oceanography. During her studies, she was very active in Greenlandic student politics, and she has been working as an advisor on environmental issues for the Inuit Circumpolar Council since 2011. She's working on both national and Arctic Council, EU, UN level work, and her focus is on environmental impact assessments of resource development projects, legislation regarding offshore oil and gas exploration, transborder pollution, contaminants in traditional foods, human and indigenous people's rights, and public participation in the decision-making process and outreach. So, Parnuna.
Thank you, Jim. Good morning, distinguished delegates and guests, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers and sponsors for making this excellent event happening in beautiful Akureyri. I enjoyed the geothermal hotspots yesterday. So I'm honored to represent ICC at the panel this morning, especially in the prominent presence of Mary Simon, and keeping in mind that I'm working for an organization that was officially founded the year that I was born. So it gives a bit of humbleness to this. The primary energy sources in the Arctic have varied over thousands of years that Inuit have been inhabiting the region. And one of the traditional energy sources of Inuit, especially in Greenland, has been seal blubber, which was used both for heating and lighting. Later in the process, seal blubber got replaced by fossil fuels, which is still the dominating energy source in many remote areas in Greenland. But I'm proud to mention that with the deployment of the 5th hydropower plant, we have now reached a percentage of 7% of renewable energy this year in Greenland, even higher than what the Honorable President Grimson stated in his inspiring speech yesterday. So today, seal blubber is mostly used for eating along with dried fish. Another concrete example of the visions regarding energy in Greenland is the Qaqqara Kommunia, the municipality of the Midwest region of Greenland, where a sustainability project is running during this year, funded by outside funding in Denmark, to identify, explore, and develop different sustainable initiatives for the whole region. And the goal is to develop a sustainable Arctic society by 2020. And the economic support for this project is targeted both the local authorities as well as voluntary initiatives from local individuals. So we are following this development with great interest and hope that it will prove a source of inspiration for the rest of the Greenlandic society and hopefully other Arctic regions. But that said, the Greenlandic self-government has, since its changed status in the 2009, has had an active strategy to develop our hydrocarbon resources, granting several licenses for exploration offshore around the mid to west North Greenland and recently also at the northeast coast of Greenland. And this has set off an internal debate on the rising interest of in the rising conflict of interest between the exploration activities like seismic surveys and the behavior and migrational patterns of the marine mammals like narwhals and beluga. So even though the Inuit in Greenland are the majority and is the self-government, we hope that even though we have the responsibility for our own non-living resources, we should not make or repeat the same mistakes that our former colonizer did by not engaging the local communities in the development process. So Mary Simon already introduced the Declaration on the Resource Development Principles, so I will only shortly mention some other articles of this declaration that might supplement what she said, especially in Section 5. The declaration says that resource development in the Inuit the Inuit homelands, must contribute to and not detract from global, national and regional efforts to curb greenhouse emissions, and should always be seen through the reality of climate change. And in their implementation of mechanisms for adapting to climate change, states and the international community as a whole must commit to paying the cost of climate change adaptation measures and the upgrading of fuel-related infrastructure in Inuit regions and communities. And also in our Inuit Arctic policy from 2010, the Chapter 3 on environmental issues, the subchapter on climate change in the Arctic, it says that ICC should work towards the goal of incorporating support for small-scale green energy technology as part of adaptation assistance. This assistance should be available not only to communities in developing countries, but also to Inuit, to other Arctic indigenous peoples, and other vulnerable populations. So appropriate small-scale green energy technology should be part of adaptation and mitigation financing in support of healthy local communities. With that said, I'm looking forward to further discuss the questions for this panel. Thank you, Røyna.